Griffin's excited or not excited or happy or sad. I just can't even see his eyeballs anymore.
He's from the future.
In the future, we have no feelings. We have no need of feelings in the future or facial expressions. The year is 2099. All facial expressions have been banned. That's like the sequel to Equilibrium. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie with Christian Bale, where all emotions have been banned because they have discovered that they cause too much conflict and wars and stuff. So they're all forced to take like this liquid injected into their necks that prohibit their body's ability to like produce emotions. And having emotions is like a crime.
Honestly, it doesn't sound that far-fetched anymore.
Oh, we're live. Oh my goodness. Welcome, future boy. Dude. You know the one thing about Vision Pro is it just does look goofy as, well, I won't finish that. Goofy AF, as the kids say. Look at that. Oh, I've been picking blueberries all night long, Gern. All night long. And
the
oh, yes.
thing for me is that it's really large on my face, so it's genuinely hard for me to smile too hard.
Well, you're using the single strap, right?
I am.
Yeah, okay. I had to ditch that pretty fast. I'll talk about that why here in a sec. First, I want to give a huge shout out to Hugo last. The last shall be first. Coming in with the big 50 big smackers before we even went live. Holy moly! 50 smackers. We appreciate that, Hugo. Thank you for funding our dreams. You just, you funded, what? Like 1% of the sales tax, maybe, on the Vision Pro? And every percent counts.
A third of the Vision insert things, the Zeiss inserts.
That's right. Do you have inserts, Griffin?
Yes,
you
of
had
course.
To get the inserts.
My eyes are terrible.
Well, I wasn't sure if you had decided to do that or just get or just wear your glasses inside, like.
Now with my big chunky glasses,
yeah.
I would never.
All right, guys, we got a big announcement coming up today. I hope you like it. We're gonna be talking all about the Vision Pro because both the Grifster and I. Here's my Vision Pro brassiere on the outside here to protect it and support it, and
lift and separate.
You took it too far, not me.
I had the exact same reaction when I unboxed mine. I was like, oh, okay, it's a bra. You put your iPod in socks, you put your Vision Pro in a bra.
It is. It's definitely a Vision Pro bra. That's exactly what it looks like. That's hilarious. We just need to get some like MacBook Pro pants for protection on the MacBook Pro or something, and we'll have the whole outfit. All right. Let's see here. Gern Blanston got the coat cloth. You son of a gun. Enjoy the cleanliness and the sparkle, my friend. I'm gonna go ahead and cue up Mrs. D, and when I reappear, you hopefully will. Oh shoot, I should probably get it on now. Hold on, before we go to almost live, I'm gonna put it on right now. Hold on.
Can you
make sure it works?
I wonder if you can actually tweet with that thing on.
See, I had to do the devil.
Ah, jeez. I just saw something on Twitter of two guys eating it like a McDonald's, and they both had the things on. And I got to say that the cords are like they're like the EarPods cords from way back when.
Hold on, I gotta pick some.
Like I might be able to get used to seeing it.
What I don't like, my one annoyance with the Vision Pro is that as soon as you're putting it on, it immediately is like trying to scan your eyes and asking for your password. And it's like, I can't see your. Do you want to type it in? And it's like, no, I'm still fiddling with it. Give me a second. Like it's so impatient. With my hair, it takes a lot of fiddling,
Okay, I think we're ready to go. Live from the future. Oh, someone just sent me a message. This might be distracting. Okay, let's go ahead and cue up.
Oh my god!
I actually don't even know if I'll be able to do this. I can't read my screen.
Oh, you have to do the pass-through on your display.
Oh,
but you have a PC, so I don't know.
Yeah. I'm working on the Cult Commander, and it's a little bit shaky, so I may have to end up taking this off, but I'm going to try it. All right, here we go.
It's really weird how on some people it just looks like ski goggles, and on other people it looks like, I don't know, like a future thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe it's because Irfan looks more like a skier.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's a lot closer to my camera than Irfan.
Oh, maybe that's it.
That could be it too. Okay.
Because you kind of look like Cyclops.
Oh, careful. I don't want to bang it on the microphone because I know the plastic on the front scratches. You're saying that I look cooler than the Grifster, aren't you?
I'm saying it looks different on you than it does on Griffin. That's all.
Okay.
And you also have like a thing that could be a ski shirt. You know what I mean? It looks more like sporty, and Griffin looks like he's dressed up for a professional podcast.
All right, look, I got Mrs. D here, and we're just ignoring her. Oh, Mrs. D.
Don't forget the Twitter.
Oh, Mrs. D. How are you doing today? Oh, lovely, my dear. I've been FaceTiming with Vision Pro. Oh, yeah? Oh, yes, and I updated the OS so I could take off my shirt. Oh, how's that even possible? In the Persona? Lewis, I didn't even know that was a thing.
That doesn't sound realistic.
I think she was talking to LK.
Not in version 1.
Well, we just updated to version 1.0.2, so maybe that's a feature that I didn't know that was in there. Okay, you want this tweet action?
Yes.
Hopefully I can see it. The double boom. Tweets going out. You guys ready to go live? Let me see if I have all my notes up here, and we'll dive into this. Oh, yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do this. This is like, I can barely see
Bring up the notes on the Vision Pro.
I can't do that.
Double down.
Oh, I know what happened. Hold on. Hold on a sec. No, whoops, my bad. I had to restart my PC. That's why it's gone. Oh, this is going to be insanely hard to do. Can I make this bigger? Okay. Here we go. Finally getting started. In 3, 2. Hello and welcome to the CultCast, the best 30+ minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Airfun Elijah. Joining me today, he's considering having Neuralink installed in his brain so he can interface and control his Vision Pro with just his thoughts. The writer's cage would then also be able to communicate directly with his brain and instantly notifying him of potential escapes, another good perk. He's the managing editor of CultCast. Lewis Wallace is here!
I'm sure that Neuralink is painless.
Yeah, what could go wrong with a blue screens? Also with us, his hair is so perfectly coiffed, you might think you're looking at his Vision Pro persona. But no, that's just the way he looks in real life. He's a writer at CultCast, fellow Vision Pro owner. Griffin Jones is here!
I have to wear the solo knit bands to keep my hair perfectly coiffed. If I try to put on the dual loop band, the over the head strap goes right over like the peak of my hair and it crushes it, and then it just ends up like flowing out of behind it like a stupid looking peacock. So
well, I don't even know if the double strap could handle the pressure with all that volume pressing up against it. It'd probably just go boing and just break on top, and the whole thing would slide down your face. Oh my goodness! Look, I'm gonna try and wear this for another 5 minutes, but I'm gonna be honest. The video pass through. Oh wait, that's a little bit better. Oh, that's better. I pulled it down on my face. The video pass through on the Vision Pro. For those of you listening, the Grifster and I are both wearing our Vision Pros, and it's good. In some situations, it's actually quite good, but in many situations, it's not. And when you're looking at a computer screen with the Vision Pro on, I don't know about you, Griffin, but like I find it to be rather blurry. Maybe
yeah, I
okay.
found that too.
Okay, and this is something that we're going to talk about. This is our Vision Pro deep dive show. Griffin and I have been using the Vision Pro for, well, how long have you had yours, Griffin?
Since Tuesday afternoon.
Okay, and I got mine Monday, so we've had them about the same amount of time. I also did the demo, and I have a lot of things to say. I have a whole list full of notes. I did a mega deep dive rabbit hole last night with the Vision Pro. I used it for like 3 or 4 hours straight, and I feel like only
amateur.
I know. Well, that was just last night. I mean, my family hasn't seen my eyeballs since Monday, which they've been complaining about, but I just dial in the mixed reality or dial them out so they're not there. I'm just in Joshua Tree and I don't have to worry about them anymore. It's rather nice. So we're going to do a deep dive. We also have some other stories about other Apple products, iPhone 16 rumors. We have some foldable iPad stories that we may get to, but to be honest, I don't know if we're going to get to any of that stuff because we have so much Vision Pro stuff to talk about. And my goal with this episode is to tell you everything that we love, the things that we like and the things that really just don't match up to the hype. This is a really outstanding first-gen product. And I know Apple has gone through many iterations to get it to this point. I mean, for them, it's probably not first-gen, but for us, this is the first time we're seeing it. And as astonishing as a product as it is, and I will actually use that word, I think it's appropriate here, it isn't perfect. There are some things about it that I have found that I don't love, and we will talk about all of it. So you'll have a pretty good idea of where we stand, and it may help you make your purchase decision because obviously it's very expensive. Of course, Vision Pro, absolutely blowing up, super viral. I'm sure you all have seen, let's see here, can we bring this up? All the images of people out and about wearing their Vision Pro. I mean, this has become a cultural moment. Apple has delivered a cultural icon. I think that this moment will be remembered forever. You'll see people wearing these on the street from here on out. I think that Apple has created a product that has cemented spatial computing as a thing that will forever just be in the zeitgeist. People will be using these from here on out. Having used it, I won't bury the lead. Like, I'm a believer. I see what they were trying to pitch. And now that I've experienced it, there was a few moments where I had using the Vision Pro where I had that fall in love moment. You know what I mean? When you're using an Apple product and you're like, this is truly a special product. This is probably the most special tech product I've ever used. It's not perfect, but I get where TC was coming from. And I'm sorry I ever doubted him. And I've been flogging myself with a bamboo stick on my own back, clenching my fists and begging for forgiveness in the sky because it's going to stick around. And I've seen these people everywhere. This actually might be me. We're watching a guy work out in his Vision Pro. He's clearly at Planet Fitness. Here's one of a guy. Now, this is just ridiculous. This guy's walking through the mall wearing it, and he's like pinching and scrolling and stuff. Dude, all these people wearing the Vision Pro out in public, I mean, it's totally absurd because when you're looking at a window in the Vision Pro, it's meant to be used while you're not moving. Those windows are not moving with you. So what the hell is this guy doing? Like, he's like walking around pinching and moving stuff. But Apple or the Vision Pro can't track windows while you're moving like that. When you set up a window in the Vision Pro, it's fixed in space. And when you move, the windows do not. So what the heck is this guy doing? Like, what is he?
You can take one window with you if you pinch and then just like start walking.
And hold on.
You can take one window for a walk, but you can't do anything while you're doing that.
Yeah, like what is this guy doing? He's like walking around pinching the blueberries. Like, there's no way that's actually doing anything. And then of course,
like
this person
people doing things like at the gym or like publicly or like stuff like that, like on the streets are basically just flexing that they have one and should be ignored. But
okay, now hold on a sec. I got to address my potential Steve Ballmer moment here. Zappy D said Airfun said this would be DOA and canceled by next year. What I said was I thought that was a real possibility because, and the reason that I said that was because there was so little interest in this device for 7 months as we talked about it, that I was basically going off of the demand that we saw for our shows and no one cared. Whenever we talked about it, the viewership would drop off, the episodes didn't do well, and I was like, people just don't care about this. But what I failed to include in my analysis was how Apple could basically craft an entire market out of something that didn't exist before. And with their marketing, build a hype for a product that people would be willing to try. And that's what I didn't account for. Like, once people put this on their face and saw what it could do, because all we were hearing were rumors, that's when you understand the Vision Pro. See what I did there? You really can't. It's like the Matrix. No one can tell you what it is. You have to experience it for yourself. Like, all the videos that you see, everything that we're going to see here or talk about here, they're not going to paint you the full picture. It's like me trying to describe the Mona Lisa to you. You have to go see it for yourself to understand. Or the David is another great example. So we're going to try that here. But now that I've put it on my head and I've seen what it can do, I think that this really is a glimpse of the future. And I don't know if that future is here yet. I think this Vision Pro is a promise of what's to come. And we can delve more into that, what I mean by that later. But it definitely gives you a glimpse of where we're headed, and it's incredibly exciting. Before we get into all the Vision Pro stuff, at the top of the show, I wanted to make the announcement that we talked about last week. I'm going to try and do this with the Vision Pro on my face, because believe it or not, this is incredibly blurry. I'm having a hard time seeing anything, but I'm going to try anyway. So we have a couple of announcements. Griffin and I have been talking about this for a while, and Lewis knows about it as well, obviously. We are going to be endeavoring to launch a new podcast. It's a reboot of something that we did previously that we stopped doing, but now we're going back into it, and we're committing to actually doing it on a weekly basis. It's a new podcast called CultCast Off Topic, and I think the name kind of says it all. If you're wondering what it is, it's a new podcast where we talk about anything that we find interesting, whatever interests us, the world or the week's most interesting topics. And we're hoping ideas sourced by you. So things that you tell us that you want us to talk about, we will talk about. It will be a weekly podcast. It will probably be about 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to try and keep it short. I don't know how well that will work, but we'll see. And it is going to be 100% ad-free. So it will be free for everyone, whoever wants to listen. We're not putting it behind a paywall or anything, and there will be no ads. And you're like, well, wait a second. No ads? Like, that's pretty cool. This is where the second announcement comes into play. We are rebooting the Cult Club. The Cult Club was it was a Patreon, and it was a membership that you could pay for and get additional content. It was really cool. I think we put out a lot of interesting, fun content, but ultimately what happened was I just didn't love the idea of splitting our audience and saying, okay, if you give us money, we're going to give you something for it. And if you don't, well then, shove off. Like, you can just listen to the show and we're not going to give you anything else. And I just really didn't like that concept. And so Cult Club 2.0 is a new way to support us. But what do you get for your money? Absolutely nothing. We're basically going to give you nothing. We're already giving you CultCast Off Topic, and we're going to give it to everybody. And we're hoping that if you like it, you'll give us $5 a month, or if you want, you can give us more than $5 a month. You can do it in increments of 5. And let me bring this up. I'm trying to bring this up as I talk about this. And I'm sorry I'm spending so much time on this, but I think it's important that I lay the foundation here. If you go to support.thecultcast.com, you'll see a website, and it's pretty simple. It allows you to put in your name. If you have a message for us you want us to read on the show, you could include that. And you can give us $5 a month. If you want, you can adjust the quantity and give us more in increments of $5 a month, because some of you want to give us your money. We keep getting super chats. We take Apple Pay. So if you are on your phone or your Mac, you'll see an option to use Apple Pay. We try to make it easy to slip that money right out of your wallets. Just make it so easy to give us that money. And we need your $5. We're hoping that we can get 1,000 of you to give us $5 a month. And if 2,000 of you give us $5 a month, I may be able to start making content full time and put out way more content than we actually do. Now you're asking yourself, like, why should I give you any money? Well, you don't have to. This is not a membership website where you get something in return for your money, although there are a few perks, I have to say. But this is more about you helping us secure our future. If you want to see us keep doing what we're doing, if you want to see us add to it, if you want to see us grow, then this is what is going to help us do it. This is what is going to help us hire more help. This is what is going to help us give us our creative freedom. Like, sometimes I've heard people say, well, you guys spend too much time talking about popular things and you're really focused on like what people are interested in and what they're not interested in. And I'm like, well, yeah, because we have sponsors. And if we don't create content that people want to listen to, then the sponsors don't want to sponsor us. And so we have to focus on a narrow selection of things. But if you're supporting us, if we can rely on you for a baseline of support, it doesn't have to be all of it, but a baseline, we can start venturing out from what we do and doing other things because we know that you'll be there to help us and make that content. So you're giving us our creative freedom, and you're also helping us pay it forward. So like, if you enjoy the content, you can help pay to have other people who are probably not going to pay for it. Most people are not going to pay because, it's hard to get people to pay for stuff. So support.thecultcast.com, support.thecultcast.com. I know a lot of people are asking for money these days. I get it. If you can help us, I'd be eternally grateful, but you don't have to. If you do decide to support, you get access to the new Cult Club, which is our exclusive community Discord. It's going to be only for supporters, and it's going to be a place where Griffin and I have already been hanging out. And you'll get some benefits by being in the Cult Club. Like, I'm going to be probably gathering pictures from people who are in the Cult Club and putting them on the GovForce display behind me, which will be rotating pictures throughout the show, which would be cool. You'll also get shout outs on the show. You'll also have an opportunity to help us craft the future of the show, give us topic suggestions, and be a part of our community and interact with us, and maybe, even maybe, be on the show, because we're going to be building relationships with people inside of the Cult Club. And so if you've got a lot of cool things to say and you're interested, like, you could actually end up on the show. That's something that I'm completely open to. Like, having people who love the show be on the show is something that I think would be really cool. The first episode of CultCast Off Topic will be out probably this weekend or early next week. It's going to be a conversation with Vadim Yuriev from Max Tech about our our first impressions of Vision Pro and where we think this is headed. Like, our vision, our vision of the future. And then from here on out, who knows what's going to happen. This is a place for us to regain our creativity. We can do whatever we want and talk about whatever we want. And we hope that this will give us a way to branch out into other areas and deliver you content in the style of CultCast, but about other stuff that we all might be interested in, like cameras and, gambling debts in Lewis's case, drug paraphernalia from Leander's, interests. Support.thecultcast.com, support.thecultcast.com. Let me know if you love this idea, hate this idea. I'm at Arafon on Twitter. I'm sorry this took way too long, but I felt like I needed to take a moment to actually explain what these things were and why we're doing this. Again, not mandatory. It's not a membership where you get really anything for your money. It's more of you just coming alongside us and saying, I want to help you be here and I want to help you grow. And I'm willing to toss down $5 to do that. Okay, shall we dive in, Griffin? The preamble is over. Let's go ahead and talk about Vision Pro, our experiences over the last few days. I'm going to let you kick it off. I have a whole page full of notes. I don't even know if we're going to make it through all this stuff, but maybe we can kind of go back and forth, or maybe we can just riff off each other. But I'm going to let you take it first because I've been talking for like 10 minutes straight.
Sounds good. So I got mine on Tuesday afternoon. The delivery came surprisingly early. Like, usually I'm used to UPS like kind of arriving at like 4:35, but it came like really kind of early in the morning. Unboxed it around noon, got started. I filmed an unboxing video, but I didn't actually release it because Leander already sniped me on putting an unboxing video on the Cult of Nike channel.
I saw that, yeah.
Like, I made one for myself. I was like, maybe I'll put it on my personal channel, but then I cut it together. I was like, no, this is just for me, for posterity. But anyways, as the listeners know, I've been very Vision Pro optimistic for the last year. And when I actually put the headset on myself, I immediately noticed something was a bit wrong. I think I actually have a light shield size that's a little too big for my head.
Oh.
Because as you remember, I tried placing 2 pre-orders, one for me, one for somebody else. And I noticed after the fact that, the order that I had to cancel actually had a different size light shield. That order had a 23. This one is a 25. And just now I noticed that if I look really far down, like, I can kind of see a little bit of light coming in like through my nose.
They told me that was normal, actually, because I commented on the same thing. And
really?
He said that was normal. But I will tell you, since I switched to the double band, gone. And the double band is so much more comfortable. I know the single band looks cool. It does look cool. The double band does not look cool.
I put on the solo knit band at first as well because it was on video, and I didn't want to ruin my hair, even though it wasn't a public video.
Is that even possible, Griffin? I'm not sure.
It's a very particular set. It's a very fragile ecosystem. You know, you put on a double knit band, the whole thing comes tumbling down like a house of cards. But the first day, or like the first few hours, it really did feel like, is this incorrectly sized light shield going to spoil the whole product for me? My first impression after the first few hours of wearing it was, huh, I actually don't know if I'll miss it if I return it at the end of this 2 week period that I have it. You know, maybe I'll order another one in the future, and I'll be more particular about, you know, picking it up in the store so that I have like an Apple employee properly size it for me. But I noticed a few other things, like when I looked at like the extreme top left or the top right of my field of vision, things were like way blurrier than I felt like they should have been.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the longer I wore it, I felt like the eye tracking was getting slightly uncalibrated, like kind of how like an old resistive touchscreen on like a Nintendo DS or like an Apple Newton can get slightly off. Like I had to look slightly above a button to be able to select it. Or sometimes I was like tilting my head. I was like, and the thing is, having the perfect fit is absolutely essential to making the whole thing work. It really is Apple's most personalized technology product ever. But then I switched to the dual loop band, and things were better. But the next morning I put on the CelloKnit band again, and I think I just got better at figuring how to put it on.
You have to position it like on your head, like perfectly, so that it doesn't become uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I really learned that the dual loop band has the one band that goes on top and the one band that sort of rests below, like the widest part of your head. The CelloKnit band, you really want to put it on like the sort of like the high point of the back of your head, for it to be comfortable. Because, and you really know, because you want the weight to be almost evenly distributed between your forehead and your cheekbones. And the first time I put it on, it was way too much on my forehead, and I felt like it was only like barely touching my cheekbones. Now that I've tried it again, it's much more comfortable. So before I talk about like anything about the experience, like the fit is really very important. And this is what I said, the same thing to Ed Hardy, who at Cult of Mac, because he had an in-store demo. I was like, take as much time as you want, like making sure the right fit won't cut into your 30-minute demo. Make sure it's good, because if it isn't good, it'll sour your whole thing on it. But once I got into the flow of using it, and I had a big piece on Cult of Mac just this morning that published with a corresponding video that you can watch. Yesterday, I was wearing the Vision Pro for probably a cumulative 9 hours.
9 hours.
In the morning, I was filming with it, and maybe the most annoying thing is that when you're wearing a Vision Pro, you can't unlock your iPhone. You have to wait for it to fail Face ID.
I noticed that too.
On this blurry keyboard.
They got to fix that, man. It should do Retina ID, or what do they call it now? Is it Retina ID?
Yeah, Iris ID, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine in Vision OS 2, they're probably going to do what they do with the Apple Watch, where when your Apple Watch is unlocked, it can unlock your face, unlock your phone.
They're definitely going to do that.
That's got to be in the cards. I imagine it was just a software thing, and they're like, this isn't absolutely essential to ship this thing. We got to ship it. But anyways, I was wearing the CelloKnit band for like 3 hours as I was filming the video in various locations. And the thing is, as I was filming, I was also writing the script to the video, which is kind of fun. So that video is all about what it's like working in it, because I feel like that's the biggest question people are asking. Can you work inside the Vision Pro? And after I was filming it, I was then editing the video. And again, I was wearing the Vision Pro as I was editing it. I got back to my computer, and I looked at it sitting on my desk, and I was like, I should just go for it. So I took off the CelloKnit band, put on the dual loop band, and this is around like 2:00 or so.
Yep.
And the dual loop band was comfortable enough that I didn't get tired of it at all. I had it on using the Mac and the virtualized display, so I was editing in Final Cut inside the headset using the keyboard and trackpad with what do you call it? Continuity keyboard or whatever.
Yep.
And then I had, instead of having the Slack window slightly off to the side, it was like physically, to my right, and messages to my left, and mail in my upper right. So that was really amazing experience. You can do work in this thing. it does very much depend on how much of your workflow is dependent on like specialized Mac desktop apps.
That's right.
And how much you can do like, just on the web or in Slack or whatever web apps you might use.
If you need access to a keyboard in any way, shape, or form, well, I haven't tried using a keyboard with the Vision Pro without a Mac. Is that even possible? Can you do that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I haven't tried that yet. I mean, that's kind of critical. Like you would need to do that because the keyboard, obviously, like everyone has said, is just total trash. You can barely use it.
This is a problem I needed to solve because before I got my Vision Pro, I realized I do not own a Bluetooth keyboard. I have basically every Mac keyboard ever made in front of me, but they're all wired. Huh. So I actually ordered. I reached out to Matthias and asked for a review unit of this one. It's a Bluetooth keyboard. It's I think the Laptop Pro. It's a mechanical keyboard, but it's pretty quiet and it connects over Bluetooth and it works great because I've already got this thing on. The only thing I need to carry around the house is this. Just sit it in my lap, and then I can do work, from my living room or on my back deck, or in the kitchen or anywhere else I might want to find myself. It's really great, and I don't find myself really missing having a physical trackpad at all. I have a Bluetooth trackpad. I could bring it with me if I wanted to, but another thing really stood out to me because when you're working on a Mac, your hands have to move back and forth between the keyboard and the trackpad or the keyboard and the mouse constantly. Mm-hmm. And that's why keyboard shortcuts are such a big thing because it reduces the friction. You don't have to move your hands to the mouse to click a button to make text bold or italicized or to, make a cut in Logic. But with the Vision Pro, that friction doesn't exist because you don't need a trackpad. You can just look with your eyes. So you can keep your hands over the keyboard, look with your eyes at the button you want to press, then tap them together, and then go back to typing again instantly. It doesn't sound like a major thing, but it makes a big impact on how fast your workflow is. And that's something I picked up on like really quick. So I think, yes, you can actually do real work on this thing, but I'm also going to put an asterisk on that myself and say, first of all, it's impressive that that's even a valid question about this product because I don't think you can even ask the same question of the MetaQuest Pro or whatever the hell it's called.
Or any other headset.
Yeah. But I also don't think that the Vision Pro needs to justify itself that way. It doesn't need to be the best computer in the world to be a valid product. And I feel like that's a kind of people are asking the wrong question in that way because everything else that it also does brilliantly. Like watching spatial videos, watching the entertainment stuff, playing games. Last night if you have an Apple Arcade subscription, I played, I think it's just called Game Box or something like that. So, it's solitaire, hearts, battleship, chess in this 3D environment. And you can just add like a real looking physical game table in 3D, just like sitting on your lap. It's just indescribably cool. I need to make a video about it sometime. So those are my overall impressions so far. Right now, obviously, I'm podcasting wearing it on, and I'll admit there's not really any point to this exercise. It's mostly just because
I beg to differ.
I'm still doing everything. I don't have any Vision Pro windows open right now. I'm just doing the virtualized Mac display.
Yeah.
The only advantage to that is that I can now look directly in the camera without losing eye contact with you in the show notes, which again is kind of a waste because you can't even see my eyes anyways. So whatever.
I know. I was telling Griffin,
my head's pointed towards the camera.
I wish we could activate the creepy outer eyes. Like it only does that if somebody comes towards you and enters your vicinity, then the creepy eyes appear, but otherwise they don't show up. And it's funny to invoke them. I kept going and looking at myself in the mirror, and then the Vision Pro would trigger the eyeballs. I should take a picture of it. In fact, I will. I'll take a picture of it later today and post it on X. So you can see that my creepy ghost eyes. All right, so
can't you put like a mannequin over there beside the monitor or something?
I mean, maybe. You know what? It's weird because like I'm looking at a picture of you guys. Let me see if I get close to the screen. If I get close to the screen, I wonder if it will trigger the ghost eyes. Let's see, because like Lewis, like your face is right here. Let's see.
Tell me if it works. I haven't even set up my persona because I don't have anybody to see it, so it doesn't even matter to me. But
is it working?
Come on, Ghost Eyes, come on.
I mean, the other thing is that the outer display is so dim, and you've got the reflection of your computer monitor in your face so bright that I don't even know if it would be able to see it, even if it was working.
Yeah, it's true. It's pretty bright in here. All right, let me give my initial thoughts here. So, as you all knew, I wasn't trying to be negative. Like I said, the response to Vision Pro, rumors, stories. I'm on the wrong screen, aren't I? What did I just do? Oh, there we go. They were just so flaccid, to use a word that might represent the response. I thought people didn't care. And I was like, I don't get what the big draw of these is going to be. But that's the thing. You can't know until you put them on. So I went to the store and I got to do the demo. Now, I will just lead with, go do the demo. Just go do it. They will walk you through the whole thing. And there is a moment in the demo where you will see why this product is going to be ubiquitous at some point. And then if you buy one and you take it home, you'll see even more why people are going to absolutely be using these things all over the place. I don't think it's going to replace your phone, and I don't think this product is for everybody, but I do think it has cemented its place as a new computing paradigm.
I don't think this specific product is trying to replace your phone.
Well, we've heard rumors that they might want to do that. Like I think when the information,
not this one though.
Yeah, so maybe not. So maybe this is just supposed to be, I think this is an iPad for your face. I mean, that really is kind of true. And I could see how this would replace your iPad or perhaps even your television entirely, which I'll talk about more here in a bit. But here are just my notes on it as I was going through this demo, and they were showing me like these scenes from sports stadiums where you get to see a camera angle inside a stadium that you could never, that seat doesn't exist. And you get to see like the baseball flying at you and the batter hitting stuff. And the 3D is so realistic. It just makes you feel like you're there. Like the immersion of these is beyond anything I had dreamed possible and is beyond anything that I've ever experienced in my life. This is the most immersive technology that I have ever used, and in a deeply personal way. I mean, it's not just movies, it's also with your photos and the spatial videos that you can record with this. It's like that scene in Minority Report where Tom Cruise was watching that 3D hologram of his family at a birthday party. I mean, it is deeply personal and emotional, and it is a glimpse of the future to come. These things will be everywhere, and when you put them on and you start to place windows all around you and you see how you can have all this stuff up at one time, when you're just doing your daily life, you can like have a YouTube video up on the right, or you could be looking at the web and like this really huge display that's way bigger than any monitor that you have. It brings to life new content or content of old that you maybe forgot about. Like panoramas in this thing are astounding. You can take a panorama that you've taken on your iPhone, which I basically stopped because I just never really found myself looking at them, and you can place yourself in the center of that scene from your life and look all around, and all around you, it looks like you are standing there. It is unreal. And I don't think that Apple has fully delivered on their vision here. This is a glimpse and a taste of what is to come. And I think we talked about in previous shows, like it's only going to get better from here and less expensive. And I think once it does that, this thing is going to be the preferred computing platform for many people, possibly even myself. I'm going to just go through some of my notes here. I would say that one of the things that came to mind as I was using this for the first time is it is the most transformative tech that I think I've probably ever used, even more profound than my iPhone. The tech is mind-boggling when you actually start to use it. The interactions and like the gestures and everything are simple, but like completely intuitive. They can walk you through them in 10 minutes and you'll know everything you need to know about how to use the Vision Pro. In fact, I would argue you don't even need the demo to know that stuff, but it does show you some of the stuff that you'll be able to do in the Vision Pro, like the 360 active backgrounds, which I'll talk about here in a minute. The user experience is an absolute work of art. I mean, it has transcended technology. The minds and the creativity that put this together are, I don't know what awards are out there for them to win, but they have created something that has transcended technology, and in my opinion, is more in line with that vision of Steve Jobs blending technology and art. Like you're not really sure where the art starts and when the technology stops because it's so seamless. And it's an unbelievably addictive device. Like I wore this all night last night. I was watching movies. I brushed my teeth with it on, and I had like a YouTube video up near my shower curtain as I was just like brushing my teeth, because you can just grab a window and take it with you wherever you go and then just place it somewhere in 3D space and just have it up while you're just living your life. And being able to do that is like such a mind-blowing, hands-free way to like enjoy content. I feel like now I'm just ranting. And there are some moments where you'll notice that you'll fall in love. Like I was watching a movie last night, and there's a 3D background. So you can dial in the amount of reality that you want to see. So you can have full reality, but you can also dial in with the digital crown a virtual environment that can be in front of you or all around you. And these are unbelievably convincing environments. Like you're in the middle of Joshua Tree, and it is a dynamic world that you're sitting in, right? And you can hear like crickets, you can hear wind in the background, you can see the clouds moving, and you're looking all around, and it's all around you. And then you load your movie and you go to full screen, and what looks like an entire theater full screen experience appears in front of you. And now you're sitting in Joshua Tree, enjoying this movie on your couch. And the part that made me think, wow, this is an astounding feat of user experience, was when I saw the light and the shadows interplay off the movie onto the ground in front of the screen, like you would at a movie theater. Like those little touches are woven in all throughout the experience with Vision Pro, and the amount of polish that they put into this is kind of hard to fathom. In fact, all the engineering, like I come from a tech background, I'm familiar with software development. Like the amount of engineering, user experience, UI creation, imagination that they had to put into figuring out how people were going to interact with this and make it intuitive. The amount of testing, like the test teams that were involved with creating like the test cases to make sure all of this was working, and like the handoff between your Mac and the Vision Pro, like all that stuff. Now I see how many thousands of people were working on this, like the 2,000 or 3,000 people. Now I see what those people were focused on for the last, I don't know how many years, because what they have delivered here, I'm trying not to get overly emotional or hyperbolic, but
oh, it's okay because you're wearing the headset, so people won't see you cry.
My tears are being welled up in the bottom of the Vision Pro here. I'm about to void my warranty, but it's truly astounding. It is a standing ovation level product. Like what Apple created here, I don't think anyone else could have created. And the level of talent and capability and creativity that went into this product and execution is beyond anything that I can even fathom. It is truly an astounding product, an astonishing product that I don't think is for everyone, but if you can afford it, I do think that it's worth buying, and it's only going to get better from here. Like once they make this thing smaller, lighter, easy to work with when you're mobile, because right now it's really meant for people who are immobile because the windows don't follow you around. But if you could fix a window in space so that it moved when your head moved, that would be another game-changing aspect of Vision OS and would make this even more useful so that it just moved with your actual head movements. The eye tracking is mind-boggling. It's not perfect, which maybe we'll talk about here in a minute, but being able just to look at stuff and just click your way, pick your blueberries as you're going through, it works like 90% of the time, almost perfectly, and it's like magic. It really is like magic. But that movie theater experience, I cannot overemphasize, that could replace your television. It really could. It was such a magical experience just sitting there with the crickets chirping in the background, watching this movie in the middle of a Joshua Tree on what felt like an IMAX. I mean, it really tricks your eyes into making you think that you're in front of like a 100-foot screen. And then below it, I had my Mac desktop. And I put all the show notes together last night, using the Mac's, or what do they call it? I forget the name of the feature. Is it
continuity keyboard?
Continuity keyboard. But it was my Mac's display in its own window beneath the movie screen so that I could work at the same time. So there you go. I mean, I'm a believer. This is truly a transformative computing experience, and it is going to be something that you're going to see everywhere from here on out. And once they make it cheaper and better, it's going to be ubiquitous. It's going to be everywhere, at least for people that enjoy having this kind of experience. I don't think it is going to be for everyone. I have found the Vision Pro to be rather heavy. I had to ditch the solo strap in about 2 hours, not because my neck hurt. I don't have a pencil neck, but I found the pressure on my face to be the part that I was really uncomfortable with. Like, I just felt like no matter how I adjusted it, it either put pressure on my cheekbones or on my forehead, and I just couldn't dial it out. And once you put the double strap on, I feel like it's a lot more comfortable to wear for prolonged periods of time. But if they just made this thing way less, like a pound less, that would be transformative, and I think it would make it into a product that a lot more people would feel comfortable wearing. I could keep going on and on and on, but Griff, I don't know if you have anything else you want to talk about. I have a whole list of stuff that I didn't love too, which we can talk about here in a minute, but anything else that you have?
I think we'll get to that, but I think my first question is a big difference in our two experiences with it, because you have like a full like wife and kids. How is it when you're wearing the headset in the evenings? Do you have to like chase them away or?
Yeah, so my daughter came out of her room last night. She was asleep to go to the bathroom, and I saw her walk by through the hallway. We have like a doorway, and I heard her walking, and I looked over there while she was walking, and she kind of glimpsed at me and then kept walking, and then I heard the walking stop.
Did she shriek?
And then I heard slow footsteps back, and she kind of peeks her head out and like looks at me wearing this thing. It's impossible to wear around your kids and family. It's extremely, as immersive as it is for you, it is that disconnecting for them. You are completely disconnected from anyone else while you're wearing this thing, even with the creepy ghost eyes when they appear, because they just don't really know what's going on in there, and they don't really know if you're paying attention to them. They can't really see your eyes that well, even with ghost eyes. And it's easy to be distracted when you're wearing the Vision Pro because it's so immersive. And the one thing I didn't mention, which I'm seeing in my notes now, and I could keep going on, the spatial audio on this is the best I have ever experienced. It is eerily good. Like when you hear a noise, that's supposed to be from behind you, it's from behind you. Noises from the side, noises from the other side. I mean, as you turn your head, they're moving all around you. And when you're sitting in one of those virtual backgrounds and you hear the breeze going or the crickets chirping, and it's like you're sitting in a campground in Joshua Tree because of the noise. It's not just the visuals that you're seeing that are immersive. You have a 360 degree soundscape going on all around you because these speakers they're small, but they sound incredibly good. I mean, they're not maybe as deep and full as the AirPods Max would be, but they're ethereal, which I prefer because I don't like having things over my ears.
But they don't have to be. Like the fact that they're positioned in what I imagine is, according to like their engineer studies, probably one of the best spots to make it so convincing. Like everybody's focusing on the displays. Like we had another story in our show notes, if we want to talk about it, about how tiny each individual pixel inside the Vision Pro display is. Like that, and like people are doing the teardowns and being like, oh, look how much of an engineering feat this thing is. Oh, the curved glass. Oh, the machine that makes the machine, and their behind the scenes manufacturing video. But I think the real unsung hero is the audio pods on the side, because it totally makes the spatial aspect of like the windows around you. Like you have a video playing in YouTube over to your right, you look over to the left, and it completely invisibly tracks to the right side of the speaker. Like it's the real unsung hero that makes the whole experience just tied up together in such a nice, neat little bow like that.
Oh, I totally agree.
It's really.
Couple questions from the chat. Gurren saying, is it just Disney Plus that puts you in that theater mode? No, so I think it's any movie content. I actually just use the Apple TV Plus app, and it's cool because, and this is why I always buy my content from Apple, because all of a sudden I have all these movies that are compatible with Vision Pro because Apple just gave it to me, all these 3D experiences. So I booted up Jumanji, of course, the next level, because I don't think the first Jumanji works. I also watched Blade Runner, which was not 3D content. It's not compatible with it's compatible with Vision Pro. It's 4K, but it's not 3D enabled. But that looked incredible. So I think it's any video content that you watch can be put into that huge theater mode, and then you can dial in and out the virtual backgrounds and use them anytime you want.
So an individual app that you're running, like an app on its own, can supply its own immersive space, but that immersive space will only work with that specific app. Like, so Disney Plus can make their land speeder or their Avengers Tower immersive environment, but then you can't have Safari open in that space. In any other experience, you have to use Apple's supplied immersive environments. And I also wonder if that's going to change in Vision OS 2 or 3. Like, I wonder if there's going to be an open API for developers to be able to create their own like system-wide immersive spaces.
Oh, I hope so.
Alongside Apple's own. But that's kind of a nuance that you don't really like. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, until you actually wear the headset yourself.
Yeah, so just for those of you who are asking, like the speakers are built into the strap right here, and you don't have to wear AirPods at all. In fact, I haven't even tried my AirPods yet, and they're just really, really high quality speakers that are built in right next to your ears that shoot the sound all around your ears and probably bounce them off your ear holes and all sorts of magic algorithm type stuff to make it feel like you're just in a 3D audio experience. Let me touch on a couple more things. That were fall in love moments for me. Let me bring up my notes here. Again, with the panoramic images, like they bring your panoramic images to life in a completely immersive new way that actually makes me want to take panoramas now. Because now instead of just looking at a big weird rectangle, now you actually get to sit in the middle of that image that you took and look all around in high quality, like 4K. And it is astounding how immersive it is. I looked at a picture of myself on like near the front of a stage at a U2 concert, and it was like I was standing at that concert again. And you see things that you never saw before because it's blown up into this big immersion image. I hate to keep using that word, but that is kind of central to the Vision Pro experience. But then there is the Photos app experience, and I think that this is another area where the Vision Pro gives you an experience that you really can't have anywhere else. Watching photos and just swiping by photo, watching videos, and you can expand the videos so that they kind of fill your peripheral and you're kind of like looking all around them as you're rewatching these experiences. Of course, the spatial videos are dynamic and lifelike, and it makes you feel like you're in the memory. You're sitting there reliving the memory in real time. It's truly incredible, like goosebumps, emotional, reliving these experiences that you took with your phone or with the Vision Pro. I did take my first spatial video with my iPhone. Unfortunately, they're only 1080p. They don't let you do them in 4K yet. I'm sure that will be like an iPhone 16 feature. And those video experiences, those spatial videos are not as good as the ones that I think you can get by taking video with the Vision Pro. So they're still good. They're still interesting. They're still immersive, but they're not quite as high quality as the ones from the Vision Pro that the Vision Pro can take. But reliving going through your photo library with the Vision Pro is like scrolling through the memories of your mind in 4K. Like those things that were opaque that you kind of remember. Now when you're reliving them, you are there again reliving those experiences. It is deeply impactful and emotional, and it makes me want to have the Vision Pro maybe just for that reason, because I love going through and rewatching videos of my kids or looking at pictures of my family on vacations and stuff. And those experiences cannot be reproduced in any other medium like they can with the Vision Pro. So I would say that is definitely one of the big features that is going to make people want to keep that in the movies. The productivity, man, like I'm not totally sold on that yet. I think that we have some work that we need to do in that area. Like bringing in your Mac display into the Vision Pro, I found to be a little janky. Didn't always work. It was a little buggy. And I also felt like it was kind of low res. Like it didn't actually look that sharp. And so it wasn't as easy to be productive in the Vision Pro as it was on my Mac and just using my Mac display. Also, I kind of found like some of the interactions, the eye reading interactions to not work all the time. Like I would be looking at something and it just wouldn't know it, and I would click it and it just would not register. So from a productivity standpoint, I think that you can be productive with the Vision Pro, but there's some work that needs to happen, or maybe I need to tweak my setup to make it easier. I wouldn't rely on like the picking of the blueberries. You definitely need to have a mouse and a keyboard. And the other thing is, like, you can't interact with anything that you're not looking at, which actually I find to be less efficient than your Mac. Like with your Mac, you can be looking somewhere and then moving your mouse there as you look, and you can be doing something that's different with your hand and your eyes. Whereas on the Vision Pro, your hand and your eyes have to work together to tell the Vision Pro what you're trying to do, which, although magical and easy to use, is not great for productivity. Like sometimes I want to have my hands doing different things than my eyes are doing, and you can't do that in the Vision Pro without the keyboard and the mouse, which I actually found to be a little less efficient than just using my Mac.
I'll second that, because sometimes like a dialog box comes up, or I want to dismiss a thing, or I want to close a thing, and the eye tracking is very fast, and the hand motion is also very fast. But there is a little bit of a delay, just enough that sometimes I catch myself, oh, tap, look over there. And I find out that I actually hasn't done it. So I have to go back and do it again.
I've had that happen too. And again, it works for the most part. It works, perfectly well. But there are instances where it doesn't. And when you're trying to be productive, that kind of stuff is annoying. And also, and maybe, I don't know, is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, I could probably go on about how much I love this. I guess I would sum up with this and just say there was a moment with one of my first PowerBooks where I was like, this is truly a special product. Like it is inspiring to use because of its design and the way it knows how I want to use it. And it just seems to always anticipate what I want to do and how I want to do it. And I would say I had that moment several times using Vision Pro, especially like while I was brushing my teeth and I just had a YouTube video like up floating in space as I was brushing my teeth. I was like, this is awesome. Like anytime you want to watch something, like you could just have it up in the corner while you're just doing your regular everyday life. And this is something that I could see myself wearing on a daily basis, although I think my wife would hate it, to be honest with you, and my kids find it baffling. Is there any other like final thoughts on things that you love before we start moving into things that maybe we find to be problematic about the Vision Pro? Because I have a list of those too.
I'll second that. Like when I'm cooking in the kitchen, or when I'm eating lunch or dinner, or when I'm just putting away dishes, I can carry around my tiny little iPhone. I have the Switch Easy little like MagSafe stand, so I can stick it on the counter or stick it on the table, and it's like the minimum viable watching experience. That technically works. Like it could only really get worse if I was watching it on my Apple Watch or something. But like, playing through, and I have an old phone, like a 12 Pro, and the speakers just get quieter and quieter over the time as they just get filled with dust. So it's not great. But like, man, having a floating screen that's like bigger than even my Mac desktop display, that's just like floating above my sink or like above my stove as I'm cooking. And the thing that really like breaks your mind is that I've been trying to like put these windows like, so it doesn't bump up against like the cabinets. I don't have to worry about that. You just put it like, it's literally superimposed on top of my stove hood.
Yeah.
And it'll just like play through it. And it breaks your brain a little bit like the first few times you do it. But it's like, no, I can always have a perfect vision of, a perfect view of this video that I'm watching. It revolutionizes watching a YouTube on your phone during lunch.
Yeah, because a lot of times I'll have like a YouTube video going on my phone and I'll just be holding it, and then every once in a while I'll be looking at it. But like, and this doesn't work now, but I would love to be able to walk in this thing. And this is a use case that I'm sure Apple's considering, because right now it's designed to not be mobile. But a mobility use case where you can have just something just out in the space as you're moving, and it's just fixed in space. I would wear this thing on walks, man. Now, I'm not sure that would be dangerous, because it does, when you're looking through it, you do notice that there is like a dark frame in your peripheral vision. Like it's not completely expansive inside where they've removed that. Like there's essentially what I would describe as a bezel. When you're looking through it, when you're looking through binoculars, you see like the black outline around your peripheral. You see that here too. And I would love to see that go away and get like full screen vision where you don't have any impeding darkness around the edges. And also, you brought this up earlier, Griffin, like it is blurry at the edges, and I've noticed some color fringing at the edges of the image, which can be distracting and makes me think that my eyes are tired. But once you're so focused on what's in front of you, oftentimes like you don't really necessarily notice that stuff. It kind of just goes to the wayside when you're just, watching content or whatever. But okay. Well, before
I feel like that's a good segue into the nitpicks that we have with this.
Yes, but before we do that, hold on, wait. Before we do that, I haven't heard Lewis utter a single word in the last, how long have we been live?
That's because you guys are so isolated.
Well, that is true. I didn't even notice you were there because I can't see you because of the Vision Pro. But also, Lewis, I don't know if you have any comments, but also we should do the giveaway as well. This is the perfect opportunity for it.
Well, I did have some questions.
Yeah, fire when ready.
So, for instance, can you park that YouTube window above your sink, and every time you walk in your bathroom, it's there?
Yes.
Okay.
It stays where you placed it. Although, sometimes if you're in a low light scenario, it will give you a warning that the tracking has failed and it doesn't know where to put that window. But the nice thing is you just press the digital crown and it resets everything to be right in front of you. So it's like a reset window button. So if you go into another room, you just hit the crown and it's like, boom, there's your YouTube video again.
But the reset button resets it to how you set it up, not.
No, it resets it to the center.
Screen?
So it would put
okay.
it right in front of you again. So like if you left it in the other room and the tracking failed and it didn't leave that video there, then you could reset it to place it in a new place.
Like a lot of times when I'm in my office doing work, I'll have mail open, and then later in the evening I'll be in my living room and I see a mail notification. I haven't opened the mail app in a few hours. I tap on it and I was like, oh, well, where is it? And then I realized, I look off in the distance and I see a tiny little like white square on the horizon.
That's right.
I tap and hold on the thing, and then it brings it right in front of me.
Okay, and so. I've heard so much about this, how amazing it is. And Irfan, would you talk 10 minutes about watching a movie in Joshua Tree, right? So do you think that, it does sound like it's amazing. And everything I've read makes it sound like it's amazing. Do you actually think that you'll find yourself watching a movie in Joshua Tree 6 months from now? Or is the novelty going to wear off?
So that's a great question. I asked myself that same question, and this leads me into one of my gripes. So maybe before we do this, let's do the giveaway, and then we'll launch into gripes, and you can also weave your other questions in here, because there is a reason why maybe I would not see myself doing that, and it's probably not what you think. But let's do the giveaway real fast, Lewis, shall we? Because I got to bring that up.
Only I had a Vision Pro.
Well, then you wouldn't be able to see your screen. Like
yeah,
the Vision Pro pass-through, the video pass-through, it's rough. It's rough.
I've heard people say that that's not quite as good as it could be. Yeah. Okay. So same giveaway as last week. You got a couple more days to enter. We're giving away 2 Lulu Look waterproof FKM sport bands for Apple Watch. If you look at it, we're giving away 1 orange one, 1 blue. Once again, you don't get a pick. If you win, you get whatever we send you. Anyone in the world can enter. The band's designed for the Apple Watch Ultra, but it also fits larger sizes like Series 9 and SE. It's waterproof, durable, comfortable to wear all day because it's soft and smooth. It's sporty looking, very modern looking. You active look even if you're not about to go scuba diving, paragliding, or mountain climbing, which of course we all do since we bought our Apple Watch Ultras, right? Can't stop with the extreme rugged experiences. Let's see, pin and tuck closure. You could. Are you showing this to the people? It's a fantastic looking little band. I think they list. I don't know how to have that information right in front of me. I think it lists for $69 or something like that. Maybe it's on sale right now for $49 if my memory serves correctly. That could be as fake as what you get from ChatGPT. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, it's a good looking thing. Like all of our giveaways, go to the homepage, cultofmac.com, scroll down, you'll see the giveaway area, click in there, click in the post, you'll see several different ways you can enter. I recommend that you sign up for the Cult of Mac Today newsletter so you get a daily dose of Cult of Mac in your inbox. It's almost every day delivered, every weekday, almost every weekday it's delivered by, it's handcrafted by Leander Caney. it's a labor of love. He puts everything he's got into this thing, and you're gonna love it. It's got our best posts from the day and his take on the news of the day.
Yeah, so if you want to do that, I'll post a link in the chat, of course. Let me find my keyboard here. And I'll put a link in the show note. And I was just looking at the entries, and let me just tell you, you got a chance. If I could get my creepy ghost eyes to appear and make my eyebrows go up and down, I would do that. But unfortunately, I can only do that if you come into the same room with me. So you're going to have to just trust me on this one. You got a chance of winning this one. So I'll put a link in the show notes and in the chat. All right, let me get to your question, Lewis. Will I be using this to watch content in 6 months? I'm not sure. I'm not totally convinced I'm going to keep the Vision Pro.
Wow.
I think that it's an incredible first-gen product, but when I said it's a glimpse of the future, but it's a future that's not here yet, the more I use this, the more I feel like that might be true because of this list of things that I don't love about the Vision Pro. And as magical as the movie experience watching was, and I think the idea is there, the premise is correct, I don't think that the Vision Pro can fully deliver on the level of image quality. Hold on, I got a pinch of blueberry here real fast. You're gonna see me going like this a whole lot, just like I do with Judy E. Heath.
It's obscene.
So I'm kind of spoiled. I have a Sony A95J a QD OLED display. It is one of the best displays that you can buy. And the image quality is truly astounding. The color accuracy, the sharpness, everything about it creates one of like the most unbelievably beautiful visual experiences that is available today. This is where the Vision Pro, I would say this is one of the top issues for me, is the actual visual quality of the Vision Pro. The pass-through quality is passing at best. When you're looking at people, they don't look sharp. The colors don't actually look that great. Like when you're looking at text like I am, I can almost barely read it because oftentimes it's blurry. If you move your head, it starts micro jittering like crazy. I can barely see it. And when you're watching a movie, a lot of those problems go away because those are camera problems, right? Like the video pass-through is a camera issue. But the actual image quality that is being delivered to your eyeballs, I think maybe because the pixels are so close to your eyes, is just not nearly as good as my Sony television is. It's not even close. Like I would say if my Sony A95J, or I'm sorry, it's an L, an A95L, because it's the newer version.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, sorry. For those television fans out there, that's an important distinction. If that is like the apex, the state of the art from a visual perspective, I would say this is probably like 65 to 70% of that quality, just to give you a level of distinction there. So like even when I'm watching movies, like even though the immersion is beyond anything that I've ever experienced, and I love like the audio and the visual immersion, the actual visual quality is not as good as my television, and it's noticeably less than my television is. Like I was watching Blade Runner last night, and I was like, oh, some of these scenes, they look okay, but they don't look nearly as good as my TV does. And so I've been rather disappointed with the visual quality of the Vision Pro, and extremely disappointed with the video pass-through. The video pass-through is barely passing, in my opinion. And in many instances, like it's actually kind of quite hard to see what's going on around you, and like reading text, seeing a computer screen does not work very well. I don't know, Griffin, any thoughts on what I just said?
I think the video pass-through is kind of impressive because I know how incredibly hard of a problem it is to do. And like the other headsets, like they don't even attempt to do it at the level of quality because it takes an incredible amount of computing power. And what kind of amazes me about the video pass-through is that like when I just like subtly judder my head around, like you would think that it would have to like compensate for that because, you know,
Yep.
if you subtly judder around your phone while you're recording video, you see how much motion there really is there,
Yep.
especially if you have an older iPhone without any image stabilization. And the fact that I can like tilt my head left and right, like rotate it or you know, go left and right or up and down, and it doesn't look like the windows or the video pass through around me is trying to compensate for it. It just looks as if it's like completely real, like a real illusion. Like, no, like the thing I'm looking at isn't moving, because obviously it isn't, even though it's actually like computing how it should counteract that movement. Like that's pretty impressive. But like as in like the motion smoothing is very impressive, but the video quality itself is very noisy. Sometimes it feels like I was even going outside yesterday, and you would think that, oh, outside, perfect, bright, sunny environment, this should have no problem. But it kind of looked like I was looking through the viewfinder of like a VHS camera.
Yes.
with the
That's
degree
an apt
of like
analogy,
grain
actually.
and noise reduction.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes
Except
it's surprisingly bad.
Except it's like a 4K big video camera and not a 480p video camera somehow. But
look, yeah, go ahead.
Another qualm I have is that, and this is a much smaller one. I don't feel like I'm as I don't feel like the disadvantages are as big to me as they feel like they are to you. But what stood out to me as compared to what I heard all of the people who got early access say is that, like, Mike Hurley and I think John Gruber said that when they put on the Vision Pro, it perfectly matched their field of view. And I don't see that at all. Maybe, again, it's because I have a too big of a light shield, and so it's slightly farther away from my eyes than it should be. But I feel like I have the same field of view looking through the Vision Pro as I do looking through my glasses.
Yeah.
And that instead of having, looking outside of my glasses, I can still see things around me. They're just very blurry. But in the Vision Pro, it's just pitch black. And so you have like a slight, it's not very much tunnel vision, but it is a little bit there.
Yeah.
And that's
same here.
I can't unsee that,
Yeah. I mean, if I had to put a percentage to it, like, if you take the Vision Pro off, you have 100% field of view. Like, when you put the Vision Pro on, it limits you to like maybe like 65% of what your normal vision would be. And then you see significant black bezels around, which I say probably encompass maybe 30% of what I'm actually seeing inside the Vision Pro. So it's definitely substantial.
I saw somebody on Twitter talking about that, saying that basically it was talking about the fit of the thing. And they actually had two photos. One was like with, like a binocular looking black rings around the area. And the other was normal looking. And they're like, it's all about the fit. So are you sure you got the fit right?
I mean, maybe not, but I asked the Apple employee how often they found that the face scan, time to pinch a blueberry here, was not correct, and they had to change the fit. And he said only about 10% of the time. Now, he also told me, and I see we got Dipsy Doo in the chat saying I'm debating on buying a light shield too, but it's $200. Just go in and exchange it. They will swap out your light shield and your whatever you need to make it fit better. No problem. They told me even after the 2-week return period, they would probably still do it for you, because this is one of the big problems that they're having. So yeah, maybe you need to work on the fit, because the fit is important, and that kind of like aligns with another gripe that I have. Like, like I said, I'm not having neck problems, but I do find I get face fatigue just having this on my face. This thing is so heavy. Can you wear it all day? Yes, but you'll have a line pressed into your face. And I find that my temples are constantly being pressed on, and no matter what I do, I can't dial it out. And I had the guy go through the fit with me, and we tried out different stuff, and I think this is probably as good as I can get it, although maybe I'm missing something. And I just find it to be too heavy. Like, it is a heavy thing to have on your face, and for some people, that is going to be a deal breaker. You just don't want to have a big, heavy piece of metal and glass sitting on your face all day long. And until they make this lighter, I think that's going to be a problem for a lot of people, is face fatigue, neck fatigue, and you can fight through it. But like last night, I noticed I was starting to get a headache. And so that's when I switched to the double strap, which I do think made it better. But, it hasn't been perfect. I'm looking at the clock. I got to be out of here in, what time is it? 1:19. I got to be out of here in 11 minutes. So let me just rattle through my list of stuff real fast. I don't have to go into everything. I put weight, balance, comfort on here. That was definitely an issue for me. I feel like they need to like move some of the tech to the back. Like maybe the weight isn't a problem, but the balance is. So there's nothing on the back. All the weight is sitting right on the front of your face. And I'm not sure that was the best idea. If they had moved some of it to the back, then maybe it would have felt more balanced. Let's see here. The screen quality, I already mentioned that. Somewhat disappointing. There have been a lot of stories about how easy it is to scratch the front of the Vision Pro because there's a plastic laminate that goes over the front. And so if you're not careful, you will scratch it. The eye tracking, I've had issues with eye tracking where it just doesn't know what I'm looking at, and I have to keep like very intentionally picking the blueberries, trying to get it to figure out like what I'm trying to do, and sometimes it just wouldn't work, and I had to like take it off and put it back on.
I recommend recalibrating your eyes. You can go in settings and do that.
Okay, maybe I did it in too low of a light when I first set it up, so I will try doing it.
Or
see if that makes a difference.
Maybe the first time you had it on and you did it during the setup process, you didn't have the straps on correctly, and
yeah. That's
because I
too.
noticed that like after I recalibrated because I learned how to put on the straps correctly, then I started getting much better eye tracking.
Okay, well I'll give that a shot. So some of this stuff might be settings. Let me see here. The camera pass through I already mentioned, really not great. Like if I were giving it a grade, I would say C- in many instances. It just doesn't look clear or sharp in many regards, and I think that's something that needs to be greatly improved. The typing experience, what typing experience? I think you could sum it up that way. The virtual keyboard is an absolute joke. Like you can't use it. You're gonna have to use a keyboard or use continuity with your Mac to like use that keyboard if you want to do any real productivity. The Mac screen sharing, I mentioned this. I found it to be too low resolution to be something that I would rely on for productivity. Like when you open up your Mac screen in virtual space, like it just didn't look sharp. And I put all the show notes together last night, and I was like reading and scrolling and doing all that stuff. And I was like, this would be so much easier if I were just using my Mac. The Retina display on my Mac just looks better. And maybe that's because it's farther away, but that is the reality of the situation. I also had some troubles connecting to my Mac. And every time, or there were instances where I would go do something else, like load a different app, and then I would come back and my Mac screen was gone and I didn't know why. And I had to figure out how to like get it back. Oh yeah, I want them to make Mac app windows something that you could fix in space. I feel like having you be able to load your Mac desktop is useful, but really what you need to be able to do is load an individual app. So you could have Final Cut Pro be like the window and not a window inside of your desktop. These are all things they're probably considering, I would imagine, but the Mac desktop I feel like is a good start. It's made to be used via mobile. The very first thing you'll want to do is get up and walk around, and then you're going to realize, oh, there's no point in using this when you're walking around. That's not what it's made to do. There's not any windows that are going to follow you around unless you grab one and you carry it with you everywhere you go, which is, maybe for short distances fine, but it's not feasible. So when you see all these people walking around like, pinching the blueberries and stuff, I mean, what a joke, dude. Those people are not doing anything. Those are just camera and click ops because there's nothing to do while you're mobile. That's not what this OS is not designed to have windows be moving throughout space. You place a window and it sits there and you use it while you're immobile. Like that's what it's designed to do. And I think that they need to figure out how to build in features to use this while you're on the move. And then my last thing is this power cable is annoying. Like I keep finding it getting caught on like my back when I'm sitting down, and I'll go to like sit up and it like pulls my head back, or it will get caught on like my arm or something that I'm using, or you'll be walking around and it will snag on something. It is what it is. I mean, the battery pack isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it is kind of annoying.
Where is the battery pack? Where do you stow it?
See, I just headbutted my microphone.
Great.
I just keep it in my back pocket. And
okay. I was surprised how heavy that thing is.
Yeah, it's definitely not light. But at least it's not on your head. It could be worse.
I wrap it around my back and put it in my front right pocket.
Oh, really? That's kind of...
Yeah.
See, that would kind of wrap
because
up
then it keeps it out of the way of my arms.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll try that. So, I don't know. Any final gripes, Griffin, about Vision Pro?
I'm going to give Lewis another chance to chime in.
Sure.
with any... do you want to quickly run down your try-on experience?
Well, yeah, I mean, I tried it. I tried Leander's, actually, at Leander's house. And, of course, I couldn't see a single thing without my glasses. I couldn't see a single thing with his Zeiss inserts. All what I basically saw was, like, just 50 of those little green circles that are supposed to be your eye, right? It was like I was on an acid trip or something. It was just everywhere.
Leander probably was actually on an acid trip.
But so they was like, well, Apple specifically says don't try it with your glasses. It's like, well, let's try it. So I jammed that thing on over my glasses, and I was actually able to go through the setup process. But after if people don't know, I mean, you have to like look at different things and pinch your fingers together and you're calibrating, I guess. And at the end of that, it says, okay, it does one circle, and then it does like 6 circles. And then it says, let's try it again in different light. Let's try it in a brighter light, 6 circles. I don't know if this is what happened to you guys. This is what happened to me wearing my glasses. And it was working. I was going through that, but I could tell it was getting slower, like as I was doing it. And then at the very end, there were 6 circles, and there was one that I could not get it to activate. And I don't know if it was because, my glasses, just glasses in general, or glasses with anti-reflective coating on them, or I this is ridiculous, but I had worked out not too long before that and taken a shower, and then I walked to his house, right? So I was my body temperature is a little hot, so my glasses were getting a little foggy inside that thing, right? And so I'm sure that affects whether or not it can see my eyes. But so I wasn't actually able to experience it, and I did get to do the thing where you push in, like I was entering in Leander's code, right? And that was really cool. Like those there's basically like a floating, number pad, and like your finger goes through it and it kind of stretches with it. It's freaky. And then Leander goes, "Oh well, you got to try to get." We kept trying to do it, right, and it's really kind of uncomfortable with glasses jamming in your face. And I don't even have big bulky glasses. These are about as the lenses are thick, but the frames are very small. And he's like, "You got to try the dinosaur thing." And I was looking at it, and I was able to scroll to get to the dinosaur app, but I could not get it to activate because it was up in that left corner of my eye, and it just wouldn't. It would not do it. And so I was trying to touch it, and it was just out of my reach. It was bizarre. So anyway, I'm going to sign up for one of the demos and go to the Apple store because the other thing is I get this Prism in my prescription. I don't know if that somehow throws off the the eye tracking or what. So anyway, it's unclear. I've seen people say, "Oh yeah, you can use it with glasses." I find it hard to believe anybody has a very good experience wearing glasses because it's just, like you guys are saying, it's so freaking finicky, right? Even if you have those Zeiss lenses and everything else, it has to be positioned precisely for you to get the really pristine experience. So I don't recommend anybody even waste their time trying it with glasses because I think it's rather pointless. Just go book a thing. I was looking at today. There was at San Francisco. Granted, San Francisco, we've got maybe 5-6 Apple stores within 10 miles of my house, but spots were popping up today. Like right now, I can't book one until next Wednesday. But throughout the day, different things pop open. So monitor that little page. You can probably get in there sometime this week. I mean, depending on where you live and all that. But
yeah, when I went in there, it was empty. There was hardly anyone in the Apple store. I was surprised. Look, we can put a bow on it. We got to wrap up. But I would just say this: go do the demo. We keep saying go do. You definitely need to go do the demo. You have to. If you're listening to this show, that's a requirement. If you don't do it, we're going to banish your IP address. And
take a road trip if there's one.
It's definitely I guess that's true.
I'm
Not
going on a road
everyone
trip
has
to show my mom.
It's worth the road trip, I think, as long as you don't have to drive more than an hour. If you have to drive 2 or 3 hours, maybe not. But it's a new paradigm. It's a radical shift, and it is cool. Like there was a moment where I was watching this woman walk on a tightrope, and I looked down and I could see below me. I was like, "Holy cow! This thing is immersive in a way that I have never seen before." And that was one of those this is the future. Like this that I'm wearing on my face. This version maybe isn't the future, but once they make this lighter, they improve the video pass through. They make visual computing a thing where you can move around. This is going to be a computing paradigm that is going to be ubiquitous. It's going to be ever. They've won me over, and I am excited. I'm really excited about the future of Vision Pro and what Apple is going to be able to do. And I think all the other tech companies like Samsung are going to be scrambling to try to copycat this and release their own version, but I don't think it's possible, man. I think that Apple's too far ahead at this point. But look, we got to go ahead and wrap it up there. Look, Griffin and I have both been wearing our Vision Pros for the whole show. I can't believe we actually did it. I can barely see anything, man. Everything's so blurry. But I think it's all right. If you want to come ask us questions, I'm on the new X, at AirFun. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. Griffin is just D. Griffin Jones. Just search that, and magically he'll pop up, maybe even in your room. Maybe you guys could FaceTime with Vision Pro FaceTime calls. Wouldn't that be special? Oh. But that's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening and for hanging out live. And please consider supporting us. Support.thecultcast.com. Help us secure our future. And we will see you guys next time. Wrong button. I blame the Vision Pro.
Spatial audio?
Spatial audio faux pas. See? Sometimes the Vision is not so pro. When you're trying to figure out what button to press and you can't even see it, that's when you realize. All right, everyone. I'm hurtling towards the end screen button as we speak. At least
you are.
At least I'm trying to. If I can't figure it out, then maybe we'll just go live again and just keep going. Because there's no way to stop it. All right. I found it. Here it is. Have a good weekend.